What's up, everybody? We are live here on YouTube this evening. Just testing the audio out here for a second. I'll see if we can get some people in here. What's up, everybody? All right, it's working. We are live. It's working. Now let's see if we can grab the link in order to tweet it out to you guys so that you know we're live. We're going to talk about all kinds of crazy stuff tonight. Tessa Blanchard's in the news, and I got some personal thoughts to share about that one here. Oh, man. We're going to talk a little bit about the Final Fantasy VII Remake. I caught some flack over my last podcast about that one. We're going to read some mean comments tonight. Let's see. Yeah, let's see if we can tweet this out here. Okay, so apparently that has, wow. Is that the one that, okay, yeah, that's the one that I got sent earlier. Okay. There is audio of, apparently, wow. Wow. Oh, man, I don't even know if I want to say that. First of all, this broadcast is not intended for anybody under the age of 13. Hence why we have the TVMA logo up in the top left-hand corner of your screen. If you're under the age of 13, turn this off and go watch Harry Potter or some stupid shit like that. God, it sounded like Fredo. You don't come to Las Vegas and talk to a man like Mo Green like that. Oh, shit. That's crazy, man. I don't even know if... I just read something on Twitter about the Tessa Blanchard situation. I don't even know if I want to say it. I don't even know if I want to say it. It's disgusting. Anyway. Rocking? No. Spell it right, Joe. Why does a $sign show up as a hashtag? Did they put that in there in case you get it wrong? So we're going to talk about a little bit about the Final Fantasy VII Remake here. We're going to talk a little bit about the... We're going to talk Tessa Blanchard tonight. Golly. Nick Gage versus Rob McBride. Hell yeah, Seabear. Cecil Miller tweeting that out tonight. If you don't know who the Boogie Woogie Man Rob McBride is, just look him up. That's all I got to say. You're going to be in for a treat. Oh, man. So, let's talk about that Final Fantasy VII stream, shall we? That Final Fantasy VII Remake, not stream. Ugh. You know, I was looking on the on my YouTube thing today. The last time I went live was on December the 2nd. Over a month. Jeez, man. Golly. I need to get to doing this more, honestly. We're live right now, and let's see here. Do I get a notification? So I put on somebody put about on on YouTube last night. The guy goes by the name of Dashing David, and he put on Twitter that a video about Square Enix possibly lying about the remake being Midgar only. And I tweeted out something that's gotten, you know, I tweeted out something that's got like, it's like the top comment on this guy's channel here. It's gotten like 15 likes so far on there. So, hey, here we go. He basically does the video talking about, are we going to see any of the open world? Are we going to see any of the world map? And I have my thoughts on the world map on the Final Fantasy VII Remake. But here's the rub on this, guys. The Midgar portion of this game, what do? You go in, you do the initial bombing run, you then go over to Seventh Heaven, have a chat with Tifa, you do the flashback sequence, you then do a couple things downstairs in the damn bars in the Avalanche hideout, and then you go back out, you buy some weapons, you go through the little materia thing, you go into the little shack where it shows you all the tutorials, which you don't really need any of that until you start looking at materia. Which I think in this demo that may be coming out, I don't think we're getting... I think they're going to have the materia section of the menu locked. I don't think we're going to even be able to go in it. That's why... I think that's why, too, that this demo has been delayed so much now. Because of the fact of... sorry, guys, this mic stand is being a pain in the ass. Because of the fact that menus were leaking and materia menus have been leaking, and they've shown screenshots of the materia menu and all that stuff. I don't think we're going to get to play around as much with this demo as people might be thinking or even wondering. So, but in regards to the overworld. Sorry, guys. I got to promote this stream on so nobody knows it's there. About Joe? Golly. But yeah, the overworld, a lot of people, I'll read the comments on this guy's video. And it's a very, very good video. It's a very telling video. I know some people, too, as I write this, a lot of people have actually gone on Twitter and blocked out the words Final Fantasy and Final Fantasy VII, and even some of them blocking out the Roman numeral 7. It's crazy how much people just don't want to be spoiled on this. Oh, man. So, here's my thoughts about this open world here thing. Guys, sorry, I had to promote there. So, here's the open world thing is difficult for me. Would I like to see what they're planning? Yeah. But do I think they're going to show us? My answer to that is very, very little. Very little. And because of that, I don't think we're going to see much of it. I mean, oh, Lord. I don't think we're going to really see much of it at all. I think maybe here, there's a scene in one of the areas during the Midgar run, if you're walking, I believe it's after you meet Aerith, I want to say, or Aerith. Sorry, it's Aerith. We got to stop calling her Ares. And you're walking back to Sector 7, I believe. There's a place where you can go down, and you're brought to the outside world. You hear the open world music. But you're still inside of Midgar. It's right outside that Sector 7 door. And if you're looking at it from the perspective of the screen that you're given, it's the outside looking in. So you can see Cloud running around on the inside of Midgard trying to go through the door. You can't go through the door. And it's also the same area, the same screen where at the end of the Midgard, at the end of the battle with Motorball, where everybody decides to leave and go to calm, they're there having that conversation. And it's the first time where you can actually form your party. And Red 13 is there with you. And you know, you basically team up with 3 and the other 2 go off. And you know, there you go. And then you go to the town of Calm and Cloud is telling his story. I don't think we're going to get any of the flashback story from Calm in this. I don't even think we're going to see Calm. Because think about what Square's doing here. Square with this one is having to take on a hell of a lot of undertaking. More of an undertaking than Final Fantasy 15. We didn't get any real towns in Final Fantasy 15. And when you think about it, you got like 2 of them. You got that one where the reactor was, where you had to go inside the reactor. You had the main town of the theme, and then you had the other town across the ocean, but there is no big overworld map. I mean, you take a boat back and forth, and it's just, I mean, I'm trying to figure out what scale they're going to do these towns in. And the main reason why towns have never really existed in a game like this is because towns are expensive. So when you have this overworld, and they're going to have to show us the continents, are we going to get a world map like we do on the original one? Are we going to get, you know, a feeling of mountains off in the distance, kind of like you do when you're, you know, stepping outside of the Chocobo Ranch for the first time, and you can see the Midgardzalim in there swimming around in the swamp? That's another thing. You're going to have to put enemies on this open world map between Midgar and Calm. This open world, they got a swift undertaking, and that's why I think we're not going to see that overworld until PlayStation 5. They got a huge undertaking here. You know, Final Fantasy 15's overworld was pretty damn impressive. I mean, when you walked it, or even when you drove it, it took a while to get from one end to the other. This is bigger. This is, to me, Final Fantasy VII's world and the world of Gaia is bigger than that shit that Noctis and them run around in. Junin Harbor, just Junin Harbor alone. You can't just make Junin Harbor look like Golden Key, you know? It's got to be bigger. It's got to be more impressive. And it's got to, I think that's another reason why they're using the Unreal Engine for this part, or for this game. They may use the other engine that they built from the ground up for further installments on the PS5. Because let's face it, the rest of them are coming out on PS5, and I would not be surprised if we get a remastered version on the PS5 of Part 1 here. So the overworld bit, I think you'll see very little of it, if not at all. I mean, you know, honestly, I would not be surprised if that final scene of the Tokyo Game Show trailer where Cloud, you see Cloud and he turns around and walks, and when he turns around, they pan and you see the destruction of the plate. And he just walks up to like this railing where we're overlooking the destruction where Tifa and Barrett are. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the final scene of the game. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the after credits scene in the game. That's another thing. Do we get an after credits scene? Do we get a mini trailer? Are we going to get any kind of tease for the second one? I think so. I think we'll get like a mean Sephiroth Marvel style after credit scene. But as far as the open world goes, this is what I wrote on Dashing David's channel. Shout out to Dashing David. He's actually been making pretty good assumptions or pretty good videos along with... there's another YouTuber, which I'll talk about here in a minute. that has completely been trashing this damn remake since day one. And if it was up to that guy, you would have a very much like a traditional enemies on one side of the screen, heroes on the other type of vibe. But Dashing David, again, he put out this thing going, Square Enix lying about Midgar only. And in the video, he talks about how we could possibly see more of that the overworld, and maybe even end it after Calm, after the flashback. And I put in, I said, I think we'll get a glimpse of the quote-unquote open world, but nothing more than that. I think the ending of the game is the talk that they have right outside Midgar, where they're talking about meeting up again in the town of Calm. The camera is going to then pans to a screenshot of the open world, and we're going to go to credits. If anything, I doubt very, very highly that we see any of that open world aspect. This is a game where, yes, there have been others where you get the introductory section and then you go to the open world. I mean, look at what Final Fantasy X did. And Final Fantasy 12. And I'd never played 13, but when you look at what 10 did, where you're on that island of Besaid for what seems like forever, and then you're on a boat. I mean, yes, Final Fantasy X is very, very freaking linear. But you really don't get the sense that you're in a very open world until you hit the Mian High Road. But 7 is so different than any other Final Fantasy VII game of the modern era since they decided to go to this style. The story is different. It's more complex than any other story that they've done this last decade. So then people replied to my comment here, and somebody put exactly, and then I agreed this would be a better ending, them meeting at Calm and Cloud starting to tell his story via flashback and leave that as a cliffhanger. They can then make part 2 from Calm, the Calm to the ship to Costa del Sol, expand on Fort Condor, the Mithril Cave, Junon, add some fleshy side missions that could be a good part 2, with the cliffhanger being Sephiroth on the cargo ship. Man, that's a lot to pack into part 2 even. If they're really expanding the story, I mean, just take what they're doing to Midgar. We got all new characters. We got these people surviving deep into the game, which I still think Biggs, Wedge, and Jesse are dying at the end of this. They have to. Isn't that the rule in modern gaming? Someone's got to die to make the story more impactful. Somebody posed, do I want the full game? Yeah, but I'm extremely happy that we'll be able to explore this massive city in itself. Perfectly happy with what they're doing. I think it'll be Midgar only, but the Midgar area, Zalem would be a cool optional boss. We're not seeing the Midgar Zalem. And I'm sorry, the Midgar Zalem, I mean, I really don't want to get off into a tangent of what I think this game should be. And what I think part 2 should be. Because part 2, we are going into part 2 with fucking blinders on, man. I mean, with blinders on. Again, folks, thank you for listening. We're here talking about the Final Fantasy VII Remake. And will we be seeing more of the... oh my... Really? They got the guy from Wrestling with Regret doing Ring of Honor. Really? Holy shit, that's taking a step backwards in my opinion. No offense to Brian Zane, but Jesus. Anyway, let me go ahead and close Twitter out. Jay Reed in the chat says, I don't think they'll flesh out the other parts as much as they're doing with part 1. Midgar kinda needs it. I'll agree with that to a certain extent. Midgar does need it. I mean, and there were several parts in the game. There were several parts of the Midgar section of the game that were cut. and left on the, that they just didn't have time to put in there, or the space. But I just think that they're gonna expand on the story. I don't want to see that Midgar Zalem. If they do the Midgar Zalem, that better be, and if it's a hidden boss, which it should not be a hidden boss or a side boss, it should be it should be a pretty big boss in the game, But I could totally see that being the I won't say the Animantoise from Final Fantasy 15. I won't say that it needs to be that big and that drawn out, but it needs to be maybe one step below. That Zalem, man, I remember the first time I played that game, and I encountered, they said, don't go up there without a chocobo. I mean, I'm talking the very first time. And Final Fantasy 7 was one of the first games I ever got for my PlayStation. Ever. It was one of the first games I went and bought at retail. I'll put it that way. As I said on my episode the other night, I had other ways of getting video games or games for that PlayStation, the first PlayStation. But I think that, that Zalem better. The first time I encountered it, I'm like, holy shit, this thing is huge. How are we going to combat this? How am I going to fight it? And of course, it kills you right there. I mean, if you're playing the game the way they play it, it wipes you out in 5 minutes and you're fucking dejected. And you're like, how do I get past this? And I'm like, oh God, I guess I got to go get the chocobo, But I don't see them going that far with this game. They're saying 2 Blu-ray discs, and yes, somebody put on the on that thread on that video, it doesn't work like it used to. One of them is going to be an install disc, and that kind of woke me up a little bit. Yeah, it's going to be like Red Dead Redemption was. Red Dead Redemption 2. You're going to have this massive install disc, and then you're going to have the game disc, and then God knows what the day one patch is going to be like, because they're going to have that. So who knows? I mean, would I like to see the open world in this? I'm still on the fence, man. I guess I'd like to see a little bit of it. I don't want to see all of it. I don't want to see the Midgar Zalem. I don't want to see the Mithril Cave. I don't even want to see the Chocobo Ranch yet. I don't even want to see Calm yet, because like I said, they're going to have a lot to do with just Midgar. I mean, when you go to Final Fantasy, again, I keep harkening back to Final Fantasy 15 because it's the last one that they really did. They did World of Final Fantasy, which has towns, but not on this scale, So I go into this with reservations in that, I'm not expecting anything huge. I'm not expecting the open world. I'm not expecting Calm or the Chocobo Ranch. Again, I think it cuts off with that whole scene of we'll meet out in Calm, and we'll get like a pan of the open world. We'll get like a thing where the camera sweeps around and bam, there's your deal. Because that big of an open town with these towns that they got to do, like the town of Calm or Nibelheim even. Nibelheim has, and Cosmo Canyon. Golly, can you think about how big these things are going to be? They better damn well be huge. They did have the Zalem in 15, okay. I finished 15's main story and that was it. I don't remember fighting the Zalem. You had that big water fight with a thing that looked like a Hydra. I remember that. It's been a long time since I played 15. Even though it's only, been out for like, 2 or 3 years. I don't even remember finishing it. So, I mean, so we got to go into this with realistic, expectations. Are we going to see this? Are we going to see that? Are we going to do this? We're going to do that. They've said it's Midgar. I don't think they're going to lie to us about that. Do I think we get like an after credit scene involving President Shinra or Rufus and maybe Sephiroth? Yeah. Do I think they'll expand the Rufus character? Because we really don't see Rufus all that much. You know, you see him at the top of the tower, at the top of Shinra headquarters, and then he flies away, and you really don't see much of him again until like near the end of the game. Until like disc 3. Well, the end of disc 2 / disc 3. So I think they're going to expand on the Turks. They're going to expand on Rufus. I'm curious to see who they get to do the voice of Yuffie and Vincent and Kate Sith. If you got to get a Scottish accent or a Celtic actor to do Kate Sith, David Tennant comes to mind. Let's put some stars in this. Don't do a bunch of nobodies. For Yuffie, I'm fine with the 2 voice actors that have played her. Christy Carlson Romano actually did a video the other day of her playing Kingdom Hearts because she had never heard Yuffie outside of her doing the voiceover. She's never seen it. She's never heard it. So they did a thing of her, playing the very first Kingdom Hearts when you get to Traverse Town and Yuffie's there. As far as Vincent goes, that's a toughie right there, man. That's a toughie of who you get to play Vincent. Who do you get to play, the guy in Cosmo Canyon? Bugenhagen, I think is his name. I'm blanking right now. I don't even... Liam Neeson, maybe? The guy that played Dumbledore in Harry Potter, maybe? It's got to be an old guy. Can't be some young guy doing an old guy's voice. The weapon fights, that's another thing people are asking about. The weapon fights. Are there going to be like all the weapons? Is there going to be Knights of the Round? And I was really impressed with the summons in Final Fantasy 15. That first guy you get, Titan, I think is his name. His name is somebody old and jolly. Yeah, for Bugenhagen. I just call him Red 13's granddad. But yeah, you got to get somebody old and jolly. Who knows? They could tone down the old guy. They could go in a completely different direction and make him like a young scientist or some shit like that. I mean, I think they should stick to the original direction and make him an old guy. But also news about when the demo will drop. The demo will drop. I talked a lot about this demo last night or night before last on the channel. The video's up there. Go watch it after you watch this. I get heavy into Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I also give a holy hell Breath of the Wild 2 theory. So if you like what you're hearing here and you like what you're seeing, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. It helps us out a lot. With the demo, February 1st marks the anniversary of when it was released in Japan, when the original Final Fantasy VII was released in Japan. I think that they're going to do maybe on... I seriously think we're going to get a release trailer before we get the demo. We're going to get one final big 5-minute long holy shit trailer before we get the demo. Or maybe the same day. Hey, we're doing this. Here's our trailer. The demo is out now. I think they should do it at a state of play if they're going to do the state of play. You know, February is also rumored to be when Sony's announcing the PlayStation 5 and doing their big reveal event and everything. You know, have it going, hey, we're here to introduce you to the PS5, but we're also here to, you know, PlayStation 4 still has another year or so left. We're going to continue making games for the PS4. The PS4 is not dead. Just to show you it's not dead, here's our newest release, Final Fantasy VII. Here's the new trailer and demo, and then they go into talking to about the PS5. Hell, at E3, the same E3 back in 2015 where this was announced, Final Fantasy VII Remake was announced, they did Final Fantasy VII, they did the indie showcase, they did Shenmue 3, and then they did a big, huge trailer for the Arkham Knight. So, current stuff, when they're doing these press conferences, current stuff still, you know, is relevant with PlayStation. So that's, you know, Final Fantasy VII. The demo, I think, is going to come sometime in February. I've gotten to the point where I no longer wake up and check and see if it's coming out yet. Ever since the Christmas Day leaks happened, I've been checking my phone every morning going, hey, is it out yet? Is it out yet? Nope. Okay. I'm going to stop doing that because it's just going to... That's another thing I'm scared of, is that are we overhyping ourselves for this? I'm so scared of that everybody's overhyped themselves for not just the demo, but for the game in general. And no matter how good this game is, we're so overhyping it. Yeah, I think Taipei, though, that's in Thailand, if I remember correctly. The Taipei Game Show is coming up February 6th through the 9th. It's been confirmed there's a playable 7 demo there, plus a trailer. I don't think it's going to be anything new. I think it's going to be the same demo and trailer that they did at E3 last year, only they're bringing it over to the Taipei Game Show. I don't think we're getting anything new. You know, I mean, if they were going to do anything new, shit. They've had how many opportunities, you know, to do this? Of all places, the Taipei Game Show is where you choose to drop the demo at. I guarantee you, until this Final Fantasy Remake demo stuff started circulating, when's the demo, nobody knew the Taipei Game Show, even here in the U.S., nobody knew that game show hardly existed. They're not going to drop it there. It's a game show for the western half of the world. They're in Thailand. I'm sorry, but this game means more to people here in the United States than probably anywhere in the world. Don't get me wrong. Japan loves it. Everybody loves this game, but I think its strongest following is here in the U.S. because in Japan they got so much more to choose from and so much more, you know. Hell, if you go to, there's a WWE wrestler by the name of Asuka who has a YouTube channel. She went to an arcade in Japan recently, and there's so much stuff over there. So this Taipei Game Show, I saw that, and I'm just like, really? They're going to drop it at a little shitty game show in Taiwan? Come on. Or Thailand, whatever it is. I'm like, okay, it's the same demo and trailer that they've been carting all over the place since E3. If they do drop that at that game show, I will say I was wrong till the cows come home, but I don't think it's going to show up there. Let's talk about Tessa Blanchard and get this over with, because I really don't want to stream that long tonight. I was going to try to play some video games, but... Let's talk about Tessa Blanchard here, since I said I was going to address this. Tessa Blanchard is for those who don't know, is a female wrestler who is signed to Impact Wrestling. Came out today here that she's been doing a lot of intergender wrestling here in the last year or so. She's faced, I think she's either getting ready to face or has faced. Oh shit, my mind is escaping me. Oh, anyway, she's been doing a lot of intergender matches for TNA Wrestling. I don't get this whole intergender wrestling thing, guys. I really don't. Because you're going to have a woman get hurt eventually. You know, just based on bone structure, body, the body framing. And, there's, yes, I know that women train with men in most wrestling schools. But actual hardcore matches like this, I don't know. But anyway, Tessa Blanchard tweeted out a tweet on Saturday morning that said, "Hey, women, try supporting one another. Cool things happen." Impact Wrestling alum Allison Kay and Chelsea Green. Allison Kay, of course, wrestles as Sienna. Posted the following. Allison Kay was first. She goes, "Remember when you spat in a black woman's face and called her the N-word in Japan? Was that you supporting women? The audacity of this tweet." Chelsea Green types replies with a GIF from the Weekend Update at Saturday Night Live that says, "I remember that." Chelsea Green then replies, "You've constantly put down, bullied, and belittled countless female workers, including me. Is that support?" Priscilla Kelly, who I've had my issues with here on the channel. "Remember publicly putting me down on Twitter last year for something that didn't involve you whatsoever, then continuing to drag my name to other people for it? Pepperidge Farm remembers. You should probably delete this tweet." Blanchard is scheduled to challenge Sami Callihan, that's the name, for the Impact Wrestling World title at tomorrow night's Hard to Kill pay-per-view event. Tessa Blanchard then replied to people, "I've never been anything but kind to you. I've dealt with mean girls since I started. Not saying I'm a saint. Hell, I've had my ups, downs, and I've made silly decisions. Such is life. You have zero merit in your comments. Instead, putting me down here for a little clout. You've got my number." Moose from Impact Wrestling has come to the defense of Tessa Blanchard. Because I guess you and Chelsea Green are absolute angels with a clean past. The timing of these tweets from you guys shows a lot about your characters. And then more women come forward to address Tessa. Black Rose, a.k.a. La Rosa Negra. Negra, Negra, folks, that's her name. The wrestler who Tessa Blanchard allegedly used a racial slur against in Japan commented on these. She goes, "Thank you so much. That story, yes, that happens on Japan. That happens on Japan 2017. If you do not remember it, can I? I'm not a mean girl with any coworkers around the world. Be kind of racist. Be kind of racist is not ridiculous. Is not ridiculous. It's a sickness." UK star Isla Dawn also commented, "As someone who experienced your bullying firsthand, received regular verbal abuse, was spat on, had rumors spread about me, dealt with multiple attempts by you to blacklist me from other companies, plus more. I just pray you follow your own advice." Now, I will say this about Tessa Blanchard, folks. A few years ago now. Yeah, it's been a couple years ago. I want to say it was 2017. I went to a Queens of Combat show, and I was told by several people there, and it was making the rounds on the internet that same day, that Tessa Blanchard is very hard to work with. She's a very opinionated person who likes to speak when she shouldn't, and that she has an overall bad attitude. This was told to me by several people that night. Also that night, the show up until the point where she wrestled had been good, wholesome, family fun, folks. And then she proceeds to do this tirade where she drops F-bombs. What's my beef with the UK fans? I'll get to that. But Tessa, she proceeds to cut this promo that came off as completely going into business for herself, which may have been the way it was supposed to, but there were kids in that audience. People had brought their families with them to that show. So much, and this angered so many people that the following show, Queens of Combat, when they came back to Gibsonville, they had to put a parental guidance suggested, warning on their poster for the event. I used to like Tessa Blanchard. I really did. Up until that point. And I've said it on this channel many a times. She has an attitude problem. I've heard she has an attitude problem. People said she has an attitude problem. And this just makes me right when I see several women wrestlers coming out there talking about the bullying, talking about the unprofessionalism, the racism. Sorry, I'm on everybody else's side on this one. Allison Kay explains why she called out Tessa in a tweet. The reason I've never said anything until now is because it wasn't my story to tell. I made it very clear to La Rosa that I had her back, and today was the day she gave me permission to talk about this. You can't force someone to come forward, but you could be there for them. That is supporting them. AEW star and former knockout Tina Brooks, a.k.a. Rebel, backed up Allison Kay's story. I like to think people change over time, but I can confirm the bad behavior and non-supportive attitude in Japan. I was there. Renee Michelle, who recently appeared on WWE television in the 24/7 title segments with her husband Drake Maverick, also commented on the incident. The day I got the call from my girl Rosa La Negra of the incident, she made me promise to keep my mouth shut. She was afraid of getting blackballed by Tessa. As promised, I did. So I helped get her into Marvelous, which is another Japanese promotion. I saw people like Make It Loud on Twitter, this woman. No, why didn't you come out further? Why didn't you say something then? Well, it's because at the time, and I'm assuming this is right around the time that, Wrestle Circus was happening, and Tessa was down there being Tessie Two Belts, and she was gaining a lot of steam and a lot of momentum. And people were genuinely afraid that, the Me Too movement hadn't started yet, really. And here's a woman who, because of her last name and her pedigree, probably has a little bit of power in the business when it comes to, yes, you could get people blackballed and all this mess. But what's my beef with the UK fans? Okay, let me talk about these UK fans here for a minute. We're gonna get on this here. Since I got asked about it, this will be the final thing I'm gonna say this evening. I want to say it was right around WrestleMania 30. The Raw after WrestleMania 30, where these UK fans, these pockets of UK fans, completely took over the Raw after WrestleMania that year with their stupid soccer chants, football chants that have no place in wrestling. They brung out the beach balls, which, yes, I knew beach balls had been around prior to that, but they're the ones that made it more prominent. They're the ones that brought them in, which set off a chain of events where people were bringing beach balls to almost every fucking show, and it annoyed the hell out of me. They're the ones that started the stupid chant to that Seven Nation Army song with Rendo Amore. Now they're doing it here in the U.S. to bask in his glory. I hate that shit. Hate it. Well, Joe, we do it during football games because it's entertaining. Watch the fucking game. If the game is so goddamn boring, and if the wrestling matches are so goddamn boring to you, or if you have that little of an attention span that you got to sit there and do stupid chants and wave flags during a soccer game, that just shows you right there that the sport is itself of soccer or football is so goddamn boring that the only reason why you go to the events is to get pissed and plastered and start chanting stupid and singing stupid shit. So I think that, I just think that the UK fans are toxic to the modern wrestling. It's okay if you guys want to stay over there on your side of the pond and do it at your little shitty independent shows and that are held in bars and nightclubs in front of 550 whatever adults who are plastered and drunk before they even get to the building. It's another reason why I think alcohol should not be sold at sporting events. Sorry, it shouldn't. Because people get drunk and do stupid shit like that. When I heard that, What Culture Pro Wrestling, that thing went out of business because Adam Blampier is a pervert, I laughed. And then WWE UK took over. I love... the UK takeover is happening tomorrow night. And if the commentary wasn't so good, for WWE UK, I would mute the crowd. I would mute the audio. I almost wanted to do it the last one. And I think they're at Cardiff. I almost wanted to mute the audio then, but you can't because the commentary's so good. But you can't really hear the commentary over those goddamn stupid chants and stupid songs and just people putting their shoes in the air and shit like that. It's so fucking stupid. I'll read you a comment. Here we go. Here's one. I'll read the comments here. See if I can get into my channel. I'll even go to my comments and read something because when I put out that video about why the British wrestling fans ruined TakeOver, how the British fans ruined TakeOver Cardiff. This was 3 months ago. Somebody goes, you lost the argument when you called it soccer. At least the crowd isn't dead as all the Yank crowds you've been in. Then somebody put, British fans sound so stupid singing all the time. Glad to have somebody on my side. Here's the one that got me. Well, I'll read I'll read this one. I'll read this one here. It's two comments. One of them is the UK fans think I'm racist video I did, which I did. I got called racist because I hated on the UK. Last I checked, dude, we're the same race, and I wasn't calling a whole race of people stupid. I'm calling people from a country stupid. I guess, what would you call that? Nationalists? Nationalism? I don't know, but that's not being racist. I didn't say black people, white people, Asian people, mixed people. I didn't say any of those things. I said UK people as in a whole group of people. Doesn't matter what color you are. Am I making fun of your culture as wrestling fans? Am I hating on your culture? Your wrestling fandom? Fuck yes, I am. And we got more comments on the damn videos too. Here's another one. But here's what this guy says. It's the same guy. I'm not going to even mention his name because he's an idiot. Says, we did not ruin the match with chance. At least we in the UK fans are creative in trying to motivate Tyler Bate, unlike stupid Americans with one type of chant. Your job is not to be creative. Your job is cheer for him. You can motivate him, but you take the attention off the match. That Tyler Bate-Walter match, you took the attention off the last few minutes of that damn match. And we UK fans create atmosphere in an arena. It's not your job. Let the wrestling create the atmosphere, not the fans. And he said it's actually Tyler Bate, Tyler. I don't give a fuck what it is. It's stupid. Has no place in a wrestling arena. Go to your soccer field, or pitch, as they call it. Or go to your cricket fields, or whatever you call it, and, cricket. You got to know what a crumpet is to understand cricket. And then the guy calls me a prick. Guilty. Same guy on the other video about the UK fans thinking that we're racist. He goes, we the UK invented fucking wrestling. The UK invented wrestling. The UK. It literally says, we the UK invented fucking wrestling. Oh my God. He said, ooh, you speak our language, LOL. I don't think you guys invented the English language, first of all. At least not modern day British wrestling fans. Second of all, wrestling was invented by the ancient Greeks and probably goes way back to the Mesopotamians, you jackass. Says, listen, if you think you hate our British wrestling fans at arenas, wait till we get WrestleMania in the UK. You'll be blowing a gasket. That is the prime reason why UK will never, ever probably get a WrestleMania. The time difference alone is probably why they will never do a WrestleMania outside of North America. You're probably going to get a pay-per-view later this month because they said that they're having a wrestling pay-per-view outside the U.S. Later this month. A lot of other people. UK fans were amazing, you nonce. Whatever a nonce is. Speak American. We were the best fans. Shut up, you bellied. Then I get other comments here that are... Because all of my comments get held for review people. Then we get more fans here. How the UK fans were in the British UK takeover Cardiff. Some guy goes, that was there live, and Jesus Christ, the crowd made that match even more incredible than it already was. I disagree. Somebody put, shut up, Baldy. I like my hair bald, thank you very much. But I'll approve your comment. The guy has a YCW logo for the thing anyway. Then I had a couple more comments onto the Corey Graves digging his own grave and don't trigger the Morrow video. I'll get into those another time. But anyway, I'm going to wrap it up here. That's my beef with the UK fans. Sit down, stop your stupid soccer chants. Drink your warm as piss beer and leave us the fuck alone. Don't bring it over here. I've said this many times before. Why do you got to come over here for WrestleMania when they're in your country doing the same matches about 2 to 3 weeks later. You know, if you're going to come over here and act stupid, keep your ass across the pond. That's all I got to say. Because I don't like it. I don't want it here. And it just created a bad influence on other wrestling fans around here. We already got the Young Buck fans and that think it's okay to throw 50 super kicks in a fucking match. We don't need that other shit too. I'm going to get out of here for the evening, folks. I'm going to try to get back on here Monday night after work. I don't know yet. But you guys have just been taken from pillar to post. If you like what you heard, hit that like button. More important, hit subscribe, hit the bell icon so you're notified every time I go live or post a video. And we will see you